Hey guys, so today I'm going to be reading My Brother Dan's Delicious. And I chose this book because we've been working on opinion writing. And this is a great example of when you're writing to persuade or give your opinion of why you want to choose some really strong reasons and examples. Okay, so this is My Brother Dan's Delicious by Stephen Lane. My Brother Dan's Delicious. Sometimes, when you're 8.5, life throws you an unexpected curve. In my case, it happened just last night. I went to my best friend Dave's house for supper, and his mother served one of her weird casseroles. It looked to me like things were moving underneath the crust, so I didn't eat much. I left his house at 7 o'clock, walked 3 blocks to my house, and that's where all the trouble started. When I reached our front door, I found a note. Dear Joey, your father and I went across the street to have a cup of coffee with the Dixons. Dan is at the movies with a friend, but he will be home soon. Love, Mom. At first glance, the note did not appear to be a problem. In fact, I was thrilled. My mother and father were finally admitting that their youngest child, a member of the gifted and talented class at Horace E. Depworth Elementary School, was old enough to stay home alone. At second, third, and fourth glance, however, I became rather upset. What was the matter with my parents? This note was advertising to practically the entire world that an innocent youngster, not to mention the child voted most interesting show and tell speaker for 3 years running, was going to be left home alone and unprotected. So his feelings have changed quite a bit, haven't they? Now everyone knows that monsters, especially those with a taste for pan-fried boys, are waiting for just this kind of opportunity to come along. Of course, I'm too old to believe in them anymore, but if I did still believe in monsters, you can be sure I'd know just how to handle this type of situation. The first step, of course, is to get inside the house where your movements cannot be easily tracked. The second step is to identify the likely hiding places of these villainous creatures, if in fact they are already inside the house. The third and most important step in dealing with monsters, however, is to distract them. I see one right there. I wonder how he's going to distract them. For example, I felt that a monster was watching me at this very moment, thinking perhaps about a fantastic dinner featuring Joseph A. DeMoretti II as a main course. I would simply alert him to the existence of my older, larger, tastier brother Dan. There are times when sacrifice is the only way. I would miss him, but he does have the bigger bedroom. Perhaps for the benefit of those who still give in to that occasional moment of monster fear, I should begin a demonstration. Are there any monsters about? If there are, I just want you to know, my brother Dan's delicious. Yes, indeedy do. He's one ultra-tasty guy. He's a succulent sibling, all right. Any monsters looking for a tender boy to munch on would do well to stay right where you are, while I share some personal insights on what makes my brother a magnificent meal choice. So this is where this book becomes a great example, because that paragraph right there was an excellent introduction to persuasive writing. So let's see what his reasons and examples are. Well, to begin with, Dan's a big guy. Sort of. Okay, so he did make the wrestling team, and Lisa Jean Owen beat him up a few times. Still, he's bigger than I am. A guy like me would barely make an appetizer, whereas a monster who planned well could probably get at least 3 good meals out of Dan. Do I hear the sounds of stomach growling coming from behind that basement door? Well, just you stay put. My brother Dan will be home soon. My brother Dan's delicious. Next, so great transition words. Next, let's consider intake. Danny boy eats all of the stuff Mom tells him to. Carrots, potatoes, even broccoli. A guy like me prefers goodies from the candy counter at Miss Castelli's drugstore. I buy them in secret, eat them in secret, and then tell Mom I'm not hungry at dinner time. So any monster with dietary concerns is going to want to grab Danny. He's like a Thanksgiving turkey already stuffed for the platter. Is something smacking its lips with eager anticipation inside that coat closet? Well, just you stay put. My brother Dan will be home soon. My brother Dan's delicious. In most of the stories I've read, monsters have all kinds of trouble capturing the boys they want to eat. But in Danny's case, a smart monster will meet with easy success and have a good laugh before dinner. In other words, Dan's not too bright. Some boys, on the other hand, would be much more difficult to capture. These persons would be characterized as receiving top scores on national achievement tests, as well as being the one Miss Biggs chooses to take messages to the office, and whom she may secretly want to marry someday. So why be depressed and disappointed trying to outsmart an intellectual giant, when I can simply tell Dan it's a costume party and dress him as a pot roast? So already we have several reasons he's given. He said Dan is bigger. He said Dan isn't as smart, so he'll be easier to catch. And Dan eats nutritious food, so he'll taste better. Is something about to release some terribly discolored saliva from underneath that king-sized bed? Well, just you stay put. My brother Dan will be home soon. My brother Dan's delicious. Finally, and most importantly, there's the issue of taste. Fortunately, I can offer personal testimony to the fact that my brother Dan is nothing less than a 13-year-old mouth-watering flavor factory. It is true that I came by this knowledge through a rather painful series of events that found Dan's hands and feet colliding with my mouth at a force just below nuclear. Still, I must confess that in each and every one of these situations, I noticed that my brother had a uniquely appetizing taste. What's the giant shadow moving just outside the back porch door? Well, just you stay put. My brother Dan will be home soon. My brother Dan's delicious. Yeah, my brother Dan's delicious, divine, delectable, and delightful. He's a meaty, mouth-watering meal of undeniable flavor. Yes, he's an unparalleled taste sensation. He's a virtual banquet for monsters of our day. Hey, I know. When he arrives, I'll signal any waiting monsters with a secret code sentence, okay? Then he's all yours. As soon as I get him into position, I'll yell really loud, "My brother Dan's my hero." So his brother came home and saved him because he was scared. So as you are writing your opinion writing, make sure that you try to include some really strong examples and reasons. Okay? Have fun.